Hello! Hold on, y'all. Stuff set up on my end. Streams. Stuff. Give me 2 seconds here. Every single fucking time. Jamming. Whew. So, today going to be a unique experience because we are going to be streaming to the new Captain's Table channel. We'll still be streaming from here, obviously, from Twitch, but I'm also streaming to YouTube right now, but to the AstroPub channel. So, let's get to the bar, shall we? Welcome, everybody. Welcome. My name's Paul, Berserker1, Batman Shelley, your humble host and space bartender here at the AstroPub, your space bar at the end of the universe. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show. We got a good one for you. How y'all doing? Hellstorm, gin and tonic. Paul, I need help. I put 19 hours into the new Monster Hunter, and it came out at 11 p.m. on Thursday. Listen, I haven't been doing Monster Hunter, but I did finally pull the trigger and buy Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. And I realized I never finished Kingdom Come Deliverance 1, so I reinstalled Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 and played. This is the first time in a long time I've had time to just play games. So I played Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 for like several hours yesterday. Because I didn't stream yesterday, partially because I was responsible and got my yearly physical, and part of that was a tetanus booster. And for some reason, it's not supposed to, but I felt like energy drained out of my entire body after that. Possibly because I also did blood work, so, you know. But I wasn't feeling up to streaming. And I gotta say, Warhorse Studios fucking nailed. I mean, absolutely fucking nailed. Like how combat works in that game. It is so fun. All right. Do I dare go to Area 18 or do I select Pyro for the first time ever? Let's do Obit Pyro. There we go. Now I have access to everything in Pyro. So I'm checking out 4.0.2 for the first time. I did not play it. Hey! Neat. Loading screen. Warhorse? No, those are the 4 horsemen. I wanted to do tutorial, but you can't start in Area 18 or Orison and play the tutorial. You can't start in Area... Oh, they removed the tutorial from Area 18, didn't they? Being better? Yes. I knew it was had to do with the shot, or it had to do with... And I realized later it's probably also because they took, like, a fuck ton of blood from me for blood work. Which, surprisingly, the blood work came back really quickly. And I'll say right now... according to medical science, I am boring. Which is good. I am, in fact, not riddled with disease or have any abnormalities for my age. I thought it was supposed to be Area 18 in Warville. I think they removed the new player experience from Area 18 because they had some issues.
Feels like I haven't seen you in ages. What have you been doing?
A little funky here and there, but so far so good. Because it is Saturday, and I expect this time period for to be the biggest load.
Welcome to the Astro vehicle retrieval system.
So let's pull... I don't have the Zeus's. I gave those away.
Welcome to the Astro vehicle retrieval system.
Well, let's pull the Zeus CL.
Please visit us again.
And then I'll add the skin to it. You're gonna get fucking shot. Oh, they got teleported. Huh. There we go. So, Luna, from now on, all of the Captain's Tables will be live broadcasted on the Captain's Table podcast YouTube. So if you want to, I'll dump this over to that point when I'm done here. I got to set that up and everything, but... Armor. That's a lot of white suits. Let's see. Not a lot of stone skins, unfortunately. That's the one I usually use a lot. You just don't find them at all. We're gonna go with the undersuit there, and we're gonna go with that chest piece. I don't think I have any heavies. We're gonna go heavy chest. Okay, we'll just go with the standard Inquisitor. My boring outfit. If I have the good arms, though. Interesting, I don't have the good arms. Maybe I just died too much with them. There's the Inquisitor base arms, which should be up here as well. There we go. Just me being a a member of the Frontier Fighters. Sinkhole, and then weapons. Come to me, my favorite, my pretty. There you are, my pretty. Scorched. Actually, I'm not going to do scorched because I'm going to lose that if I use those right now. Wait. Go. Ability. Orbit. It's on me for now. We're solid. Yep, I subscribed to that channel last week. You mentioned the end of Captain's Table. I usually do your pre-captain stuff. Isn't on YouTube. I really prefer YouTube. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, no. So this way I can do YouTube and Twitch at the same time. And then when I move the transition from YouTube to Twitch, I want to use the transition from YouTube from the AstroPub to the Captain's Table. It can just be a smooth transition over. So, or like it's a hard cut. So people who are watching the pre-show can watch the pre-show separately from the regular show. Contracts. Are you ready to see the best? Go. The absolute most baller. Most baller skin for the Zeus.
Welcome to the ASOP vehicle retrieval system.
It's sad that these skins are only available on ships I do not have.
Your vehicle has been visited again.
Hey, says Joel. I like the Singularity Inquisitor sets myself. I prefer the Inquisitor head, the Mazarov chest, and then the Lynx shoulders and legs. That is my setup. How am I feeling? Better. Better than yesterday, that's for sure. Like I said, I knew it was having to do with my my trip to the doctor being a good being a responsible adult and getting checked up and poked and prodded by the doc. Especially with measles outbreak here in Texas, I wanted to check to see if my measles vaccine was still good. Turns out, still good. Do you have to do a to-do armor set that you like? A go-to? Yes, I do. Yeah. How y'all doing? How you're enjoying 3. Or 4.3? Ah, my brain. 4.02. I'm just gonna start calling it the 02. Able as fuck for a Star Citizen patch, especially for one on like this is. I'm on a Saturday on a. This is Saturday on a U.S. server. Now, obviously, it's not like super degraded right now, like you typically have with when things happen. But CSG's also been doing server resets and maintenance recently, so we know that it's not just the degradation. There's just some straight up problems. So far, performance is pretty good. Stability is pretty good. They seem to have chased down some of the issues. So maybe I'm going to jinx it. 402 will actually be a good starting point for better just content. I'm getting my measles booster because I predate 1968. Also doing the shingle shot. My mom apparently didn't get me the whooping cough when I was when I had the booster back in high school, because I had apparently a huge high fever with the whooping cough one when I was younger. So she didn't want me to get sick, and turns out I kind of get it now because I was feeling awful yesterday, but I don't feel bad. But turns out, though, because the whooping cough is included in the tetanus, and I got tetanus is what I got. I got tetanus booster, and it's the whooping cough is included in that. So it was like, oh, okay, that's probably why I felt like crumb, but you know. Oh, these aren't on. Okay. Let me first off do this. Check out that shiny purple. That shiny purple. All right, then I'm going to exit. Log out, log back in. This is my fault. My sticks aren't registering because I didn't do the proper setup.
You can take away my spaceship. You can take away my space suit.
See Daddy over here.
You can even take away my space lasers.
Card-carrying member
never,
of the genocide club.
Take away my space game.
The Grumpy Mando just resubscribed for 35 months. Pup pipe.
Thank you so much for that 35 months of support there, Grumpy Mando. You're very important, pup. We're very impressive as any pedestrian. This for all you from drinking out. Shots and cheers and chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. Here we goes. Let me send this back down.
Sly_5 just resubscribed for 70 months.
Thank you so much
Keep
for
going.
70 months of support there, Sly-Fi. You're very important, pup. We're very impressive as any pedestrian. This is your fault. You're drinking out. Shots and cheers and chat, y'all. Shots and cheers.
You can take away my spaceship.
Spaceship.
You can take away my space suit.
Suit.
You can even take away my space lasers.
No confused.
But you can never, ever take away my space game.
Draft_ just resubscribed for 20 months. You are going to keep dancing until Sid can write better story missions.
Oh God, I'm gonna not stop dancing, Droger. Thank you so much for that.
Take
For
away
20
my
months.
spaceship.
Spaceship.
You can take away my space suit.
Suit.
You can even take away my space lasers.
No pew-pews.
But you can never,
Never.
ever
Ever.
take away my space game. You can take away my
Oh, we got double.
You can take away my space suit.
Because we also got Luna coming in with his membership.
Lasers.
It's not linked together.
Never, ever take away my space game.
Robert_Wars just resubscribed for 37 months. A membership. Luna Maria celebrates 16 months of membership. 16 months and counting. Oh, you have some new moves in the Space Jam dance floor. Sly_5 just gifted 10 subs.
Sci-Fi, thanks for gifting those 10 subs. Luna says 16 months and counting. Oh, and you have some new moves in Space Jam Dance. You know it. Thank you for that 16 months on YouTube. Thank you to Robert for 37 months and Drago for 20 months.
Biddies.
Thank you, Grumpy Mando, for them biddies. All of you, you're very important puppers, very impressive pissers, very neat pedestrians. Y'all rock. All right, let me exit to the main menu here. All right, what's going on with you?
Hey, a tip.
Lunam, super chatted $6.92. Keep dancing, Lord Daddy.
Thank you so
Lol.
much for that, Luna. You're. Hold on. Okay. Game. Registering. There you go. Now I can do it. Other than the quantum bug, though, there's the supply missions using more materials than 2 on either side of the jump would be appreciated. Well, the quantum bug is just one of those that always has happened, where you just can't quantum for whatever reason. That's been around for a while. The supply missions using more materials. What do you mean? What's the second one you're talking about? The supply materials? What are you talking about there, Jokero? Been on holiday, back for the summer. Hey. Copper and corundum in Stanton. Tin/pressurized ice or copper or corundum. You deliver them to the pyro stations, and they all are for copper and corundum, and there are only like 4 places to sell either. Oh, the 2 materials. That was planned from the beginning, though. Like they said they were gonna have. That's a design, not a bug. Where they wanted you to have a small amount of materials you could use. That's bottleneck to hell, and it's people getting to do it. I think it's because you're supposed to mine it rather than trade for it. Is the idea. Love the capsule this week. Thank you, Lady Space Patrol. There's 2. There's another one that's coming out soon, which is going over. Like, that one's more critical of CIG, and then the one that is coming out on Monday, I think, is a lot more forgiving of CIG. Because I think I even said it in the capsule. I think the reality is that what we got for the ISC was recorded long before the roadmap came out. So it was probably recorded before everyone was like, hey, your twists are bad and you should feel bad. I still got shit for it. People said I was being overly critical and I was being disrespectful to the devs. And I gotta say, man, I will be respectful to the devs when they're respectful to us, and that was not respectful to anybody who plays the game. It was talking down to your player base, and also just confusing, because so many people are like, yeah, I didn't care, I wanted the skin, or yeah, I didn't care, I got this. And that should highlight the real problem. The real problem isn't that, like, their narratives don't work. It's that they just do not have narratives. Nobody cares. It's like you need to, like, this is a situation of you want to walk in and be like, well, everyone understands what's going on, and not realize that, like, yeah, I do lore videos for Star Citizen, but my lore videos peak at 10K. People with smaller subscriber counts can release a video about gun balance in Star Citizen and get 20K in a week. It takes me a month to 2 months to a year for some of my videos to get 2K or 20K on narrative. CIG, nobody knows you have fucking narrative. Nobody knows you have lore. Nobody knows, so nobody cares. Until you start writing stuff that people care about, that's what you need for people to care.
Delivered to the following location. Please visit us again.
How do you grow those citizens? I mean, yeah, like I don't think I was being overly harsh. I was giving them back as much as they were giving us. And I still think I got a had good responses. Elite isn't, I wouldn't say Elite is the gold standard for storytelling, but they do a better job. And one of the things that Elite has that Star Citizen doesn't have is Galnet. You need some way to give people context of the universe they're in. And I know what they were trying to do, which is saying your decisions have consequences and your actions have consequences. But trying to do a morality play as part of it isn't your strong suit, CIG. Your strong suit is morally gray. The number of people who want to work with Xenothreat is pretty high, because even though you're like, we're gonna make an overtly bad guys who hate everything, and then you wrote them as like anti-corporation hating, anti-xeno or super xenophobic group, and people are like, I hate corporations too. I'm gonna support Xenothreat. And it's like, yeah, see, that's the problem. You made them sympathetic to people who already hate corporations. They glossed over the like, hey, yeah, we want to like genocide anybody who disagrees with us. And there are no consequences right now for anything. So what they need to do is have consequences for your decisions. That's what they wanted to do. They kind of did it. They just sort of half-assed it.
Welcome to Modern Space Industries. Enjoy the ride.
Let's see. Tracks, hauling, priority. That's a lot of priority. Holy fuck, that's a lot of priority. 3 million for medium? Jesus. Phase 3 still going on, yeah. How about that? Yeah, they said they were gonna keep phase 3 going through the month. Okay, we're gonna accept these two. Where am I? I'm in Obit, right? Perfect. What's Captain's Cable about today about? 4.0.2. We're just gonna be a kind of a brief vibes check about what's going on. And we'll also talk about like why people might not be hopping onto the game right now, because CIG is kind of in a weird spot with the game, and on top of all of that, I'm in a bit. I'm gonna take the last mission real quick. Contracts, offers, hauling.
Take off.
Screwed up my e-bindings again. I don't know why this happens. had a weird experience with Elliot this week. Been on my mind a lot. I asked if they could make versions of the bodies found in Rex caves and outposts incapacitated for medics to heal missions. There's a price where we're yelling caps. I don't know how much work that is, but you know how much work it is? They would do the work, but they haven't fetch quests yet. They haven't fetch quests yet. Let him build the foundation. It was really surprising. I understand clearly hit a nerve unintendedly, but it raised questions on how much pressure he's under. Does he get enough resources? Does his team have enough people? No, he doesn't get enough resources, and he doesn't have enough people. Like that is something that was clear from Benoit's like discussions. Problem is that, like, yeah, he's in a bad position, but at the same time, dude, don't be snippy with the community like that. Like, your entire thing sucked ass. Like, I know you can do better because you've done better. You've done Siege of Orison. But, like, I get it. But sometimes you gotta learn to eat the crow. And you fuck up big time, you go, fucked up, move on. Yeah, basically all the pressure's on him because the entire game is on him. It's on his shoulders, which sucks ass because it shouldn't be, because that's not his fault. Really? Did it really take away my... Yeah, they took away my fucking... What the fuck, game? God, I've caught that now. I can go grab it now. The last ISC was awful. Like, supplier die isn't bad. Don't get me wrong. The idea behind supplier die is interesting. Not a bad move in my opinion. And anyone's mad about it, it's like, I mean, it's Jump Town. It's them experimenting a little bit. I'm okay with them going like, hey, let's try something a little different with Jump Town and try to make it non-combat, which I think a lot of people should appreciate that. Problem is I also know that there are people who are like, I want non-combat missions, who will say, this isn't enough. Like, dude, they're a step in that direction. It's not something that they can do overnight. Go get that real quick. My true beam, whatever. I don't understand how they expect people to do this solo with 500 people on a server. There are smaller ones you can do solo. Yeah, the one that's 13 million, I wouldn't do. They have small, medium, and large. Like, I'll show you. So if you go to the offers, you got a priority. You see large, medium, large, medium, large, medium, large, medium. These are all just mediums and large. Small. So, copper and corundum. The idea being you can go to the, to go buy those if you want to, or you can go purchase them, or you can go mine them, find them and mine them. Because I think you can get copper and corundum mining, right? This is a small one. No, of course it's not safe. But this isn't designed as a like a Care Bear hug box event. It's always designed as a as sort of a PvE with PvP threat. I mean, that's always going to be the case. Even if it was just, hey, you know, like old Elite Dangerous style community missions, someone can always decide to fuck you over and steal your shit and take your stuff. Like, that's the design.
Engines are on. Take off complete.
That just means they want to use us to be content for PvPers. So, come on, man. Just because you can't get a pure PvE environment in a game that was never going to be pure PvE, don't be salty about that.
Shields on. Landing gear raised.
There's a lot of things CIG does wrong, but the idea that CIG is bad because they don't give any PvE content is obnoxious, because PvP can happen.
Drive is now.
Sliders are so old, Toa, that the thing is that things like this the sliders were never supposed to work for things like this. They even said the sliders would not work for things like this. The way that they're doing it is that PvE content will be in places like Stanton, where it's less of a hassle, and there's more of a risk for PvPers. Toa, don't take this the wrong way, brother. All right? It's not meant as an insult to you, but maybe you backed the wrong game. CIG has never, absolutely never, come out and said you can do PvE content entirely with no PvP whatsoever. Even with this PvP sliders, what they said was PvP sliders were designed to reduce the amount of PvP you could engage in, but it was still possible. And in certain places and at certain times, those sliders would be entirely turned off.
Shields are on. Shields are off. Auto-drive is now on.
As somebody who doesn't actively participate in PvE or in PvP, like only occasionally happens because I happen to be in an area where I have to fight somebody, I don't understand this sort of hostile attitude towards PvP. I could be jumped at any point by PvPers in this process.
Auto-drive is now off.
There's nothing stopping me from getting ganked right now.
Auto-drive is now on.
How many times have I been PvP'd in these situations? 0. And I'm fucking got a target on my back. I've got a name that people know.
Quantum drive is now off.
I got jumped an hour ago, just part of the game. Yeah, and I've been jumped in the past for doing things, but I've learned how to avoid combat or to extract away from it. Yeah, Deltarine's only available in Pyro. You can't go to Stanton. You can't even sell it in Stanton, I don't think. Andesite is just copper and corundum. Yeah. The only thing that hasn't been fully implemented. Fuck. I say that and I just get targeted.
Shields
Oh, this is... I'm getting ganked. Yeah. See? Part of the process. Let me die. Yep, there we go. I'm guessing this is where people go. And that PvPer had to risk nothing. Yes, they did. They still have to repair and rearm and all those other kind of things. Speaking of the devil, yeah. 'Tis the nature of the game. No, it was an F7A, I think was one of them. Are there still people dying through elevators? There will be for a while, but they literally just released this patch, so I couldn't tell you. Now that you said it, someone in the chat's going to talk about how, like, they logged into the game and Chris Roberts personally, you know, bashed their skull against the monitor or something like that. Chawlas Beach is a huge hotspot. Haven't been there without a fight in forever. Your attacker didn't get material gain out of it anywho, so it's good. I mean, like, yeah, they killed me and blew me up for nothing. So, whatever. Move on. So I now know, based off of that, because I haven't actually done these before, that that's a spot where people like to go to fight. No skin off my back. Good. I have one more chess piece, I think. Too bad. Right, we'll use this. We're not going to go with the full loadout because that's clearly not going to work out well for us. I'm not going to bother with a primary weapon. We'll get a pistol because I think I got a few of those. All right, this isn't like the forever one that I had, so I don't have a lot of pistols. I'm glad I didn't pick that one up because I knew that was going to be a bad idea. Let's go with the Arc-Light Glimmer. Technically, the only thing preventing Stanton from the same fate is the bug that prison system that doesn't let criminals leave after their sentence is finished. Their current concepts of lawlessness and lawful or consequences of the criminal system needs a lot of work. No, what they need is they need better NPC protections. I was going to say that earlier, is that they just need to have better NPC protections. All right, let's see. I'm going to have to cancel these contracts. The Bueno Ravine is apparently being camped, so. Just gonna submit. Submit. Abandon. Alright, so let's see if we have another ones we can do from Golden Riviera. Shepherd's Rest. Try that one. Yeah, no, you're being hyperbolic, Toa.
Welcome to the ASOS vehicle retrieval system. Your insurance claim has been sent. Please visit us again.
If I get gangs here, I'll just head back to Stanton. The thing that CIG needs to do in order to make Stanton safer is have the whole ability to send out a distress signal or something that would send in like security forces, the advocacy to show up. And you just have a timer for how long they show up for. And, you know, when they show up, you have a chance to come in. The other thing is that like you die super fast right now. That needs to, like, the time to death needs to increase dramatically, which is what they're going to do with like engineering and stuff like that. That's not going to be, both of those aren't going to be for a while.
Please visit us again. Goodbye. Welcome to the ASOS vehicle retrieval system. If your vehicle, please visit us again.
There we go. Were you surprised there was no engineering in 4.1? A little bit. Yeah. Yeah, I'm feeling better. It would not be in their best interest to introduce additional variables until after Squad 42 customers are converted to Star Citizen. That would be problematic long-term, though, because once they start adding in fundamental changes to things like engineering and scanning, when those things become different in terms of playstyle, you're going to see a lot of people, you're going to see Master Modes 2.0, where people just like lose their mind because they're like, but this isn't what I paid for. So it still needs to be done, and I think it's still going to be done this year, but I don't think, since it's not in 4.1, it's like, yeah, I don't think CIG is going to fuck with it until after they've gotten a bunch of the back-end fixes they want.
You can take away my spaceship. You can take away my space suit. You can even take away my space lasers.
Oh, fuck.
But you can never, ever take away my space game.
Chaos Vice just resubscribed for 16 months.
Thank you
Thanks
so much
for your
for that.
great content, and hopefully we will get soon more interesting things to talk about the never-ending PvE vs PvP smiley face.
Thank you so much, Chaos, for that 60 months of support. You're very important, Pupper, very impressive, of any pedestrian. This is your fault. There's no drinking night. Shots and cheers in chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. You got this experience to salvage nerfs back there, M. Diego? Yeah. Do you know what the refresh rate on commodities is? Not the top of my head, no. But yeah, no, this year, I think the safe bet is just to not experience or not bet on anything coming out other than ships and new missions from now until December. Like, that's just it. And if it's like, well, I'm not having a good time, I'll see you next year. Like, that's probably your best option. Don't bash your head against the wall over and over and over again, because likely you're not going to see a change that you like until then. There might be some buffs and nerfs here and there, like as they tweak some things out, but no, there's very little chance that CIG is going to go full to do anything that someone would like. Change this. I will say so far, from a just bug perspective, I haven't experienced much in, it's relatively short, but typically, if this was previous patches, the bugs would have already started to rear their heads.
You can take away my spaceship. You can take away my space suit. You can even take away my space lasers. But you can never, ever take away my space game.
Eerie's Dread Tide just resubscribed for 26 months. Ready to shift your perspective from the ordinary to the extraordinary? Ready to reset your expectations to the everyday to the highest heights? From breathtaking views, incredible dining, Crusader is calling. Stay at the luxurious accommodations, tour Empire-class shipyards and bask in a sunset that is truly unforgettable. With shuttles arriving daily, what are you waiting for? Come, visit Horizon, the city in the clouds.
I hate your ears. Thank you so much for that 26 months of support. I fear even things like medical missions won't make it in. You're not going to see medical missions for a while. Like CIG's mission systems fundamentally aren't up to the standard they want to. Like I said, Toa, like if you're frustrated about the game right now, it's not worth it. It's not worth your time, your energy, your anger. Just move on. Check in on it in a couple of months. Also, I have a question for you about the Perseus. Normally you go near the nearest size roll, but they think the Polaris and the Perseus loaner says as but the potential changes. C Daddy, who's the one who actually did this, I can speak on this because I'm the one who picked the loaner, and I picked the Polaris more for the role than anything else. Does not speak to any changes the Perseus may or may not receive. Was not considered my consideration. I think that's a good way. In my mind, the Perseus is a multi-crew ship with multiple people in it, and it's a combat ship, and the best version of that right now we have is the Polaris. You could have chosen the Hammerhead, but I think the Polaris is a better analogy to that. Now, at least. Unfortunately, we're powerless here. They've taken my money since 2015 as a promise, and they won't fulfill even 10 years after. I have no choice to just sit and continue. You do have options. If you're that upset about the situation, there are ways to either contact CIG for a refund, which I know sounds like, oh, they'll just deny me. I have seen people get accepted on case-by-case basis for this sorts of thing in the past, so it's worth a shot if you're that upset about it. And if you're if that doesn't work out, you can always sell your account. I know it's against the rules, but you know, people sell stuff all the time, so you could easily empty out your account and sell all your stuff and get your money back. And if you have a rarer ship, you might be able to get to like completely make money off of it if you wanted to. But you just said, Lady Space Patrol, you don't believe that you're going to get it at all. You don't think you're going to get it. You're at the point where it's like the Star Citizen is doomed. It's never going to be the game I wanted it to be. CIG isn't listening to me, and they're not going to listen to me. They've been taking my money since 2015. If you truly felt like that, then the best option might just to be, okay, fuck it, cut my losses and move on. And if you're saying, oh, well, I'm going to wait until Squadron 42 comes out, and then you question if Squadron 42 is ever going to come out, then the answer, then why do you stick around for that? I mean, maybe for the community, I guess, but like, this isn't me being like, you'd leave. I'm just more like, this sounds like a lot of pain and suffering for a video game. Yeah, episodes 2 and 3 aren't nearly as much as people think and make it out to be. I'm misunderstanding what you're saying. How am I misunderstanding it, lady? Please enlighten me. You don't want the story at all? It's just me chill, or is it just the story currently isn't what you want it to be? I get frustrated with that wanting a refund. You can. The question I have is more like, hey, I get it, but this sounds like a torturous experience. Just for the fight from Pyro, I'm sore about it being out. Yeah, I get that. I think it's just better when I discuss things. Okay. If this is just venting, I get it. Spent a lot of time in this process. Well, I don't like. You're saying talking helps. I'm not trying to be disrespectful or trying to try to talk down to you. I'm trying to understand what is the mindset, the mentality, because you consistently come into the chat and are upset about the direction CIG is going. You doubt that CIG is listening to you or listening to anybody, that they're moving away from what you want them to do, that Squadron 42 isn't going to be released, which is like, okay. So if I was in the same situation where, like, for instance, I was an Assassin's Creed fan up until Assassin's Creed 3. I've played around with, like, Assassin's Creed Odyssey a little bit. But most of the times I've just sort of given up on Assassin's Creed. I heard that Assassin's Creed Shadows has all these sorts of issues and it's been leaked and all that kind of stuff. And while that sounds awful, I don't care. because I've sort of just given up on Assassin's Creed as a franchise. I just don't follow it. I'm not interested in the stories they're telling. I'm not interested in the gameplay. You know, that's it. I was a huge, massive Halo fan up until Halo. But like I stopped following Halo after Halo 5 because like the story changed too drastically. I wasn't interested in the direction they were going, and I never even bothered buying like Halo 5. Like I saw what was doing with it. I may have purchased Halo 5. I didn't purchased. No, I did purchase Infinity. But like I was not nearly as invested. I haven't done any of their sort of like major payments since then. Every time if I do buy something Halo, it's probably on like discount or something like that. And I was huge, massive Halo fan for a long time. So for me, it's like, okay, this is something I was interested in, and now the companies and the people behind it have moved so far away from the original idea that I'm just no longer interested in it. I don't haunt Halo forums and talk about how awful Halo is or anything like that. Left out one or two of those. You're not leaving Star Citizen, you're changing how you engage with it. Got it. Okay.
Docking denied. Landing gear down. Landing successful. Engines off.
I don't think this is really a sunk cost fallacy because, like I said, if I ever wanted to leave Star Citizen, I have enough. I have no qualms of just selling my accounts and ghosting, never coming back, kind of thing. I don't intend on doing that, but it's always an option if I want to. And I know that. This is not. Oh, snaps. P8AR is now in CZ loot. Nice. This is where I get explodified. You can kill me. All you're doing is wasting stuff. Trying to talk to me. Yeah, those are on the roadmap. The building interiors. Are you trying to blow me up with that? I don't think that thing explodes, dude. Oh, it does. Neat, didn't know that happened. Is that the mission? Got 2 boxes and I'm done. This is CFP, so I could give 2 shits about what's going on. It's like there's that one tuber who's been making videos for years, acting like Chris Roberts, and it's like that can't be healthy. May have to come back here. Didn't give me the prompt. Oh, it's because this is different. I'm dumb. I'm very stupid. I think this is for a different location. I thought I was going to the same location. Currently at Shepherd's Rest, right? Yeah. Let's see. This is 4, 8, 12, 16... 17, 18. Yeah, this is for completely different mission. I wasn't paying attention, chat. What surprised me about Camerul is that Camerul tends to be pretty even-keeled on, like, he's definitely coming from things from perspective of anti-Star Citizen. Like, he just doesn't like Chris Roberts, and he doesn't like the game. He thinks it's a mistake or whatever. I can't go to his internal thoughts about why he does what he does. But then I saw a video of his where he was complaining about the fucking server maintenance. That server maintenance was bad, actually, which was where I'm like, brother, I think you've lost the plot at this point. The thing that everyone's been asking CIG to do, they're doing it now, and you're talking about how actually this is bad? Like, what? You think of an MMO that doesn't do maintenance on a regular daily or weekly schedule? So it's like, I am... When I saw that, I was like, this is very confusing, Cameron. Like... Okay. Do you, boo? Yeah, I'm confused by that sort of thing, but you know.
Engines on. Engines off. Engines on.
So, I understand. So there's two things. There is CIG trying to reinvent the wheel, and then there is... Okay.
Engines on. Launch sequence complete. Landing gear up.
Hey Mason, how you doing? I forgot the last one. It's Wookie! Oh, that's who I said. Wookie, you scared the shit out of me. Because I just gotten, like, ganked on another location, so when you were flying around blowing things up, I was like, what the fuck? Well, like, we apologize, the bugs didn't schedule themselves in advance. Well, because, like, Cameron is one of those people who is like, CIG doesn't know how to design missions. They don't know how to do, they're failing at the basic functions of game, and there are all of their, here's all this detailed research stuff about like how things function in game, and to show that CIG doesn't know what they're doing, and we'll show the numbers and stuff like that. So for him to do that and then make a video about how server maintenance is actually bad makes me go, brother, I think you're losing the plot here. I almost saw a shot Wookiee and Pyro once. Trust no one. Yeah. I see it as CIG finally having to face that they have to accept normal game limitations and have to look around and do some polish to keep things moving forward. That's kind of what they're doing in general. I don't think CIG was ever going to have a situation. I don't think CIG was ever in under the illusion that they were somehow different from other game developers. They knew they were going to always reach some limitations. But I also think that CIG was deluding themselves into thinking that they could continue developing the game without doing server maintenance and doing things like restarting servers, because they were like, well, we just need to figure out how long the servers can last. And it's like, you now have all of the background information. You have server meshing. You have all of the technologies that need for the game to function. You know that answer. You know the answer, then just start activating on that answer. And I think that's what CIG did, was they're like, all right, we're gonna wait until we actually have server meshing to see what the details are. They saw the details and were like, now we have to do this sort of thing. Fuck you, CIG. Look at this. How fucking beautiful this is. Fuck you. And just through the cockpit, it's beautiful.
Shields on.
I'm leaning in a little bit because I'm trying to find. There it is.
Landing gear down.
Just possible. Wicked Wookie is the person behind Scooter. Yeah, that's the same as Scooter. Yeah. If you want to help me out, sure. I'm just doing some can't pay you anything or can't pay you much, but sure. Well, of course, why would Scoot need money? Do maintenance on a set of servers that aren't played on and then rotate them into play, not taking old servers out, for maintenance with dynamic meshing? I'm sure that's the long run, but like there may also be just configuration issues or other things they have to do that they just have to put things down. I think what you're saying is effectively what CIG was hoping they could have done. For those of you who haven't watched Wookiee's other content, Scooter is just an exaggerated version of his own accent. It was fun talking with Wookiee about some stuff in the past. It was like, oh yeah, because for those of you who don't know, I also lived in the Appalachian Hills, Appalachian Mountain, in the general vicinity of where Wookiee is from. Oh, the headhunters do not like you. Watch out. Ta-da! And I gotta go up and get more processed food. It's a complete non-techie. What's server maintenance? Just a restart. It can vary. Sometimes it's a restart. Sometimes it's shutting the server off and then replacing the server. So like switching the server from one server kind of family cluster to another. Sometimes it's literally going in and updating the servers individually. So like there's some things you need to like take the game off of the server and then like example might be something like, and this is based off of my limited experience in this case.
Launch sequence complete. Landing gear up.
Clear out this mountain range real quick. We're just gonna head back to Obit. I gotta pick up some more stuff at Obit.
Engines off.
Oop, that's not what I wanted.
Engines.
I went to hit F1. Why did I hit I? Hey, Super. How you doing? The last video was pretty good. I've seen portions of it. I haven't watched the whole thing yet. The last sale. Feel happy? Glad to hear that. Yes, Alcinor, thank you. Weapon ICUs of what? Corundum?
Landing gear down. Landing gear up. Shield on.
Okay, join hangar queue. Oh, I'm at the bottom. Why does this look kind of funky? Oh, because I am legitimately under the station. Me and my two buddies did 13 mil mission last night. How'd that go? I just hope my parents won't hop onto the keyboard now that I've joined the chat. I'm gonna be bothered. I just finished the first two rewards with small salvage missions only. Not really that bad. Really not that bad. The problem is being able to purchase some of those things if you want to purchase them rather than buy mining them, but I think they're designed for mining. Though I don't know if corundum can be mined. Copper can, I'm pretty sure. Alright, I just need to land and load it up. Pretty easy to be honest. We got lucky, I think, and got stuff early before the store sold out. I think the refresh rate, you'll probably be able to get it at certain times when like the refresh rate is completely when no one's playing, and so the fudge. Let me check my. Where do I have to pick this up? From Obit. Is this just broken? This is Obit. This is just broken. Good, no, these missions still break. All right. Golden Riviera is the one that is absolutely, the Golden Riviera is fine. It's the Buena Ravine. It's absolutely no go. These two. That's dangerous. That's real dangerous. I don't think I'm gonna take that one. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. Copper. Carbon I can take. So I can pull up. Yeah, nope. Nope. I don't want to get ganked for copper. Some groups are blocking access to the trade terminals, though, keeping them occupied. There are ways around it. You can actually knock them out of the. If they're just idling in front of it, you can actually use a tractor beam and knock them around, like picking up benches and the like. $13 mil, which is divided amongst a couple of people. So it's divided evenly. So 13 mil isn't what it is. It's 13 mil. If it was him and 3 people, it would be like 4 mil each. 4.5 mil, or 4.2 something. Yeah, no. I mean, that's Dell's big thing. Dell's been harping on that for a while, that we need money sinks. Problem is that you can't use money sinks until the game isn't killing you for coughing wrong. It was like worth 500 something towards the paint and loot stuff. The reason why these hangar queues exist is because they wanted to instance the hangars. They need to just build more hangars is the problem. I think CIG over or probably underestimated the number of very large hangars they need to build in each station. You sure it was a player that was interdicting you? Alright, so you're not going to be able to follow with me there all the way, Wookie. You also need to use more than one entrance. Yeah. Well, depends on the type of hangar. Some hangars have more than one. You're talking about like entrance to the hangar. More so feels like the queue currently stacks everyone in the same hangar door versus using all the doors available. That's a good point too. Because they try to keep the doors as immersive as possible. So the same general, like hangar 2 is everyone's hangar who has hangar 2. And instead of just giving somebody hangar 3, it's just hangar 2. That may just be a technology limitation. The new soundtrack probably was great. Thanks. The caldera there, because they will get spicy with you there. Wookie. This one over here. That's an explosion. Hey, there's an ATLS here. How does Elite Dangerous handle hangers on online play? They don't have nearly many people in server as Star Citizen. I think they max out at 100 people per server. They may have, it may be better, but when I last played, they only had 32 people per server. What pays your freelancer? Black. Watch out, Wookie. They're going to get spicy with you. Like Carolina Reaper spicy. Only 2. Okay. That's rough. Doc Holiday, say when. God, I love Young Guns. Where's that Tombstone? I know that's Van Damme, right? Or no? Val Kilmer. I knew it was a V. I'm your Huckleberry. Val Kilmer really fully expressed how absolutely psychotic Doc Holliday was. That man was insane.
Engines on. Launch sequence completed.
May not be the most accurate portrayal of Doc Holliday, but I think he captured. All right, I'm heading out. The actual man pretty well. Now we're heading to Starlight, so.
Landing gear up.
He was insane of his own medicine. Well, the story behind Doc Holliday is that if hopefully I'm not missing things up, but his he went to Tombstone because his doctor told him to go go there because he had tuberculosis. And so at the time, it was thought that dry air, less humid air, might help slow or stop the process of TB. So he went there and basically spent all his money on booze and women. And he became friends of the Earps brothers. And he would always carry around a sawed-off shotgun everywhere he went. That man just poured and boozed his way through most of that town. Because he was like, I'm gonna die soon anyways, who gives a fuck? Dry hair does to that. Oh, good to know. I thought like I always thought when I heard those sort of those old stories about how dry air would help slow the spread of TB, and then I find out that people like Doc Holliday didn't die of TB. It was like, oh, maybe there was some method to that madness. It was like sunlight and dry air is what they thought. All right, medium hanger. I believe Tom Sawyer and Huck Finn was produced before Tombstone, like the events of Tombstone. The events of Tombstone was like 1870s, I want to say, and Huck Finn and Tom Sawyer was pre-Civil War, like 1850, because of Jim. I know it was set in an earlier time, but I think it was maybe contemporary of one another. The movie itself. I don't know what that reference is. It's been a while since I've seen Tombstone. Good movie, but in a while. Right now, it's just one guest. It's just Axis. So I have to double check to see if anybody else is coming on. Oh, Fast Card said you can go. So it'd be Axis and Fast Card. Three, basically general vibes of 402. Doc Holliday and Ron Swanson are my spirit animals. I love Val Kilmer's approach to it, though. There's so many iconic lines from that. The only other line that I remember from a Western that stuck with me is from Young Guns. And it was, I want to say Billy the Kid quoting the Bible. You sow the wind, you're going to reap the whirlwind. Such a fascinating time in American history. Do you feel lucky? Do you, Pump? You ain't no Daisy. Yes. It's not much of a living. Yeah. want to say Costner was in Tombstone as well. I might be thinking of someone different. Didn't he play Doc Holliday? Not Doc Holliday. Wyatt Earp. Been to Tombstone. I have too. It's a great little town. It's held together by all of these sorts of like tourism. Yeah. You can rant. It's fine to rant. I understand your frustration, dude. Trust me. It's not. When I'm talking about it, it's more of like I want to make sure we're still talking about the same things, because there's expectations, and then there's also hopes. And I feel like a lot of us get our hopes up and don't set our expectations properly. I too am in that situation, because I was like, hey, CIG is doing new narrative stuff, so maybe CIG can start like introducing characters and storylines and factions in a way that I think will get people engaged. And then they did Fight for Pyro, and I'm like, oh god, no, please go back. It's clear CIG doesn't know what they're doing right now. But I also have to keep that in mind, that what CIG is doing is learning. They're trying to figure out how to do this because they've never done this before. Thank you for the escorts there, Wookie. I'm going to drop this off. I think I'll call it after this, just because I got to get set up for another. I got about 20 minutes set up, so. Is it unreasonable to expect after 10 years to have your gameplay? No, I get it. But I also think that what gameplay is depends on your perspective. Because, for one, CIG not having some PvE stuff, I get it. But then when you're expecting CIG to have something that CIG's never promised or never talked about, then that becomes like okay, we're setting expectations are off here. Like, even at its most extreme, the most extreme PvE sort of description of the PvP slider, it was always clear that PvP was not going to be completely avoidable with the slider. They said 100% there will be places where it's just turned off.
Welcome to the ASOS vehicle retrieval system.
And there's a reason why they dumped that pretty quickly. They dumped the idea of the PvP slider like within a couple, like 2 or 3 years of it releasing, because they hadn't even gotten to Arena Commander.
You can take away my
and they
spaceship.
realized this isn't how it's going to work.
You can take away
so
my
they
space
shifted to
suit.
the more the idea that like
You can even
systems
take
will
away
be
my space
danger and not
lasers.
danger we already had.
But you can never, ever take away my space game.
Lucas_DSC just resubscribed for 29 months.
Thank you so much, Lucas, for that 29 months of support. You're very important. We're very impressed with any pedestrian. You rock. Shots and cheers in chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. I'm not expecting of any video character or voice characters for us to interact with. I don't feel like they will want to spend. I don't feel like they want to spend cost on a throwaway event. Well, they are going to be doing a voiced mission giver and a specific event that they're talking about. That's definitely something they're investing time and energy in. My hope is that it's not a one-time mission giver. If CIG was smart with their current resources, what they should do is party real quick. What time's Captain's Table? It's going to be in about 20 minutes is when the setup is. So, but about 50 minutes. And Jack of No Trades, it's going to be on the other channel, on the Captain's Table podcast channel. That's where it's going to be. Did they say voiced? Yes. But that's a good point. They could have weasel worded it. I will double check. I'm assuming voiced because every other mission giver has been voiced. Nope, they didn't say anything about voiced. They said a new mission giver enters the verse, bringing fresh opportunities for players to explore. Look at the release view as well. Yep, nothing about voiced. So thank you for setting proper expectations there, Ito Kairu. It may not be voiced. I hope it is. That explains Ian talking about it the other day. I believe they've mentioned that they wanted to bring it back. Yes. Apparently, server meshing made the mission givers harder. Yeah, it's because of the mission system. Eddie Parr. Alice know what you're talking about? If they're smart with the resources, they would give Elliot the triple the team size and resources he needs and stop wasting developers' time on Squadron 42. I don't think any of the developers on Squadron 42 would help Elliot improve his team right now, because what they need to do with Elliot's team is they need to give them tools to function. And as far as I know, most of the people involved in Squadron 42 are not working on tools. And it wouldn't transfer well anyways. It would take them at least 3 to 6 months to go from one team to another team. Even if they were like up to date, it would still take some lead-in time to get them up to date on all the things that are happening. They just don't have the tools, according to Benoit, that have been updated. Their tools are woefully outdated for creating missions, so they need to have those tools functioning better on top of the mission systems functioning inside of it. After 12 years, we can wait for a few months for them to get trained, but it's not going to solve the problem, because the issue with it is not specifically manpower based. It's resources based in the sense of like they don't have the tools they need, and they don't have the support they need to test those tools and to make those tools and to work through those tools, according to what Benoit said in that 3-hour ISC. For SEL. So moving everyone from Squadron to Star Citizen won't make Star Citizen come out faster, is what I'm trying to say. And Star Citizen is still going to take the amount of time it takes to come out, maybe a few months earlier, but you're still looking, if you were like, oh, well, Star Citizen's not coming out till 2030. If they move the entire company towards that, it would still come out in 2030. It's not a matter of resources in the sense of manpower. It's in the sense of using the right people trained to do the right things for the right actions. The people who are in Squadron 42 right now are people who are working on optimizing the builds to make sure they function for various different hardware configurations. They're the people who are working on mission design. So things like, should we change this hallway here, replace it with this hallway there, which isn't what CIG's mission team, as far as I know, lacks. They have plenty of designers. What they're also working on NPC placements and polishing and testing all of the different features that are already in the game to make sure that they function properly, scenes trigger properly, like the cinematic teams and stuff like that. Well, I don't think that was Elliot's clever twist. That was Dave Haddock's twist. The problem was that they didn't earn the twist. The twist itself wasn't bad. It's just, and I know you disagree with me on that one, but the issue was they didn't earn it. And I think CIG has to reframe it, because right now CIG is thinking good guy and bad guy, when the way they wrote the universe is not good guy, bad guy. It's shades of gray, some people a little bit better than others. So to be like, haha, surprise, they're evil, isn't like an interesting twist. Surprise, they're the slicers is an interesting twist, only if it hurts you as a player in your gameplay experience. And I think CIG is still too gun shy to move that way. Also, I don't think the reputation system's up to snuff. But like, that's the thing they need to do. But if they do that, they need to commit. And they didn't even commit to telling us who these people were. Like, famously, they talked about Amelia in the video, and I'm like, who the fuck is Amelia? This is the first time I've heard about Amelia at all in terms of the context of the Frontier Fighters.
But you can never, ever take away my space game.
Senale just resubscribed for 54 months.
Thank you so much for that. 54 months there, Senale. You're very important, public, very impressive, specific rating pedestrian. This is your fault. There's room drinking night. Shots and cheers in chat, y'all. Shots and cheers. I'm tired of hearing wait and want to hear A, B, C, and D be done before X, Y, Z missions in. That doesn't, just because you're tired of it doesn't make it less true. What do you think about Montoya's video on PvE servers? I haven't seen it, but I can tell you already, I'm not okay with PvE servers in Star Citizen mainstream. Private servers, sure, when they have private servers up and running, but you know, that's going to be post Squadron 42 when players actually build them and not CIG. I don't think CIG is going to build private servers at all. I think players are going to figure out how to reverse engineer Squadron 42's code into Star Citizen and then make their own private servers. One of the worst decisions, in my opinion, one of the worst decisions that Frontier Developments did with Elite was to create offline and private mode. Because they were like, hey, we're going to create a living universe with PvP, PvE, PvP experiences. And then when PvP became toxic and people disliked PvP, instead of modifying and fixing the problem, people just, the Frontier Developments was focused on other things. And as a result, everyone just left the PvPvE situation. It sort of abandoned it. Because the problem with offline mode was that offline mode still impacted the whole events of the universe. So if you wanted to do an event which was designed around encouraging players to get together, like say those community goals that they used to do, I keep forgetting what they were called. If you wanted to do that, you could do them offline, and it would still count towards it. So effectively, there was no risk involved in any of the actions that Frontier developments wanted to have a risk involved. That FDev wanted to do with risk involved. So it kind of took the sails out of the whole, a lot of these situations, especially like power play, because on top of that, people could then go offline and then cheese the shit out of the system for a specific faction and win without any consequences. So people could just use offline mode to flip systems in their favor and completely fuck over anybody's attempt to try to do things. So it just made the big organizations and people who were coordinating more powerful and the average individual solo player less impactful, which meant that the average person didn't want to care about that stuff. I don't think it's bad writing. Then again, I come from the school of there's no such thing as bad writing. simply well done and poorly written. Something that's well done or poorly written. I think the execution was where it fell apart. The concept isn't flawed. It's the execution that was flawed. It was the process of there was no build up to that point, so we didn't know that these people cared. And there was no execution on telling us that they were the bad guys. There was no hints that they were the bad guys or that this was going to be a problem, other than they want to kill everybody. And this is Star Citizen. Lots of people want to kill everybody. It's kind of like it's a Tuesday in the Star Citizen universe. It's not semantics. That's because writing, saying it's bad writing means it's Dave Haddock's fault. Takes the entire onus off of every other person in CIG's narrative team. It's Dave Haddock's fault. He fucked up, and he's the only person who's responsible. When I don't think Dave Haddock is the only person responsible for this. I think the entire development team, because it takes video games are a collaborative art. So one person isn't responsible for everything. The one person is responsible for keeping things on track, which is like the director. So that person holds the final say, but there are multiple moving parts in something like a video game. When you're making a narrative, it requires the designers, it requires the people who are coding the missions, it requires the writing team to kind of put things together, it requires all of the context to be created, and they didn't do the legwork ahead of time to earn that twist, and I think that's a failure of narrative as a whole. How energy weapons are working in Star Citizen universe, is there lore behind them? There's some speculative lore that the developers have created, but the energy weapons aren't actually energy based. They're plasma based. I don't think they've fully settled on exactly how they work. Which, then again, I don't know the difference between plasma weapons and energy weapons then, because there are plasma weapons. When I asked before, you said you think they'll definitely have high space horror. Where are you thinking Firefly space horror or Dead Space space horror? I couldn't tell you. It really depends on the capacity of CIG's storytelling. Do I think they'll do body horror? Yes. But I think we're likely more going to see something akin to camp horror. So, Cabin in the Woods sort of thing. Great movie, by the way. Watch it. It has some nice twists and stuff like that. I think we're going to see a lot of psychological horror, probably some good old fashioned Lovecraftian horror that's been up there. But I don't think we're going to see in like xenomorphs sort of situation, or you being hunted by something. The closest I would even venture to guess would be Alien Isolation in terms of horror. Cabin in the Woods was an awesome movie. It is a fantastic movie, but to call Cabin in the Woods a serious horror movie is a joke. It is a campy movie. It's just got enough drama in it that it makes it kind of work. Would it help if stands in security were invulnerable and had one-shot kill weapons? Probably, but I think that's a nuke to solve a roach problem. I'm gonna. Invulnerable security would be boring. They would be, but it depends on if you want. If you're asking for invulnerable security to mitigate players or to modify player behavior, or if you're talking about security as a interesting, dynamic aspect of the game. That's why I say it's like a nuke to solve a roach problem, because CIG could make security invulnerable and murder you in one shot, which would teach players, don't go to stations and cause problems, or don't be in Stanton when security shows up, because you're just going to get freaking rolled. It's unfair, but it's also a balancing process. That is something you could do for balancing. That's what Eve does with Concord. Fun fact, when I heard about Concord the game, I thought it was a FPS set in the Eve universe because the name Concord. I was like, oh, interesting choice, but okay. Not a completely new IP. For those of you who know, Concord is Eve's versions of the police, like Star Citizen has the advocacy, same kind of idea. How hard could they do an Event Horizon type mission? Yeah, they could. The thing is will it work, and does it work within the engine limitations and within the scope and desire of Star Citizen? Because I could see something like Alien Isolation, because CIG loves darkness. They love to throw you in pitch black environments with flashlights that barely work. Because that would, the being in an area and realizing too late that you're being hunted and having to escape, and having a creature that is very difficult to kill with with weapons and say like a cave or a space station, perfect, scares the shit out of people. Where hiding or avoiding them is better than actually fighting them, and or near impossible to fight them. I think CIG could do that. I think they could do that pretty well with Star Citizen. But like, investigation missions could work too with that kind of lean into that. But yeah. Stanton security isn't everywhere, so how does it ruin criminality? Well, because it also brings up the question of, if Stanton is invincible, if the Stanton security systems are invincible, why are there still outlaws in Stanton? Because outlaws are always wily. I think a better solution to the criminality problem is simply, when combat erupts in any situation, there is a high chance that Stanton security or that security forces will just show up. Because that feels more of a dial they could pull, with like if they wanted to add a timer or add some sort of probability basement, they could. But there's always a chance, there will always be security shows up. Kind of like how if you started a shootout in the middle of a city, there is a non-zero chance the cops are going to show up at some point, because it's in the middle of a city, especially in the middle of the day. But the further in the outer reaches of the systems you go, the less likely, that kind of thing. So, and I think that's the solution to the problem, because the problem that comes with PvP is that it's not the PvPers who do fighting for the sake of fighting, or do fighting so that they can get resources or stuff, like the pirates and such. The problem with PvPers are the people who just show up to gank people, to blow people up, to pee in their Cheerios to make them feel bad. And those solutions to those problems long term is in reputation. Because doing that will ruin your reputation, and killing people will ruin your reputation. And that reputation will be the difference between you being able to access services and not access services. CIG has part of that in the game right now, supposedly. It's just bad right now. So doing something as like a mitigation of like, fuck you, you can't commit crimes, or like an armistice zone that goes over all of Stanton, nobody can commit any crimes, there's no, like, turn PvP off for Stanton, is an extreme measure for when they have to for a balancing issue, they have to dial in with things they already have or things they're working. Dell's talking to me about it. Basically, like that. I think, and I agree. I agree. I think a lot of people who are concerned about PvP are people who are actually concerned about griefers or about people who have who are just killing for the sake of killing. Because there are plenty of pirates and combat players who want to do PvP who are interested in fighting each other. Combat. They want the thrill of fighting somebody else and trying to figure out who's the best sort of situation. And pirates who are just trying to steal things to make money. They want to take people down. But if pirates had a way of taking people down without killing them and taking their stuff, they would. And that'd be a more dynamic and engaging experience. And that's sort of the PvP that CIG seems to be courting, is more players interacting with other players in a way that is dynamic and interesting, not always, shoot on sight Rust situation. Yep, it's setup time. All right, y'all. So on YouTube, you're going to see a bunch of silence at this point. So if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm going to leave the stream up. But when it's done, it should automatically switch you to the live stream of the this whole thing on YouTube on the Captain's Table podcast. That is where all the live streams are going to be from now on of the Captain's Table podcast. I will leave them up as unlisted, but they'll be up. So you can still watch them in their own kind of special playlists. And it'll be just like you've been watching here on the AstroPub YouTube. But everything's going to be there from now on. So that way, if you want to watch the Captain's Table on YouTube, that is where you go. The AstroPub is where you watch my content playing, the office hours, other things like that. And the Astro Historian's where all the lore stuff lives. So making it easier for YouTube to figure these things out. So I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. And when I return, we'll get kind of set up. I watched Cutlet and his goons board into Spirit and Stanton, and they perma-killed the player after incapping them and took the stuff. So I don't think the pirates plan on leaving people alive. The only reason why they perma-killed them is because if you incap somebody, they have a chance of getting back up. If there is a way of incapping somebody and preventing them from getting up, and there was a incentive to not just murder people, then they would do that. I've seen Cutlet also basically tell people to just sit down and stop moving, let them take their things and move, and let them go, and then people deciding to do stupid shit anyways because there's no consequences to death. Ironically, a lot of the reasons why people are upset about stuff like griefing is because there's no consequences for death. Because there's no consequences for death, and that's also the problem with why those sorts of things become a lot more violent, is because there's no consequences for death. So people who are already losing their gear just say, fuck you, I'm hitting self-destruct and blowing everybody up, and so I can take my ball and go home. So like there needs to be balance that needs to be tweaked here and there. Yeah. All right, be right back, chat. Be right back. Hey y'all, so normally we go live here right now because it's 3 o'clock, but one of our guests is just now getting home. They're going to be doing some setup, so we're going to be about 15 more minutes. And so stick with us a little bit longer, and then so yeah, for those of you who are on YouTube who are not used to this, this is music. So yeah, it'll be about 15 more minutes until we the next person shows up. For those of you who aren't used to this, it usually takes me about 30 minutes of setup, which is the reason why I don't start streaming on YouTube until I start like the actual show. Now you understand why I don't like stream the pre-show on YouTube, because if I did that, then people would just complain about how like it's 3 hours of nothing or 3 hours of content before the actual show, and then they're like, oh, where does it start? So this is why if you want to go to the actual show, go to the Captain's Table podcast YouTube right now, if you're on the AstroPub YouTube, and watch it there. The live setup is already there, and when I end this stream, it should move you directly onto that one right away. So be right back, chat. Don't go anywhere. Yes. We know we know we're muted.